we'll be reviewing the Joe Matarese Show. This was a suggestion from me because this guy is now a regular on Misery Loves Company. And this is Kevin Brennan's big get. This is where he's come to now. This is his big celebrity comedian guest. We have both listened separately. We've not discussed it with each other beforehand. Let's get into it. A show hosted by Joe Matarese. I checked out episode 15 with guest Jordan Jensen. And I just want to start from the beginning. It's always good when you start with a cold open and you announce that it's a cold open.
Hey, everybody. How are you? A little cold open, a little music. And then we'll get to my amazing guest. But guess what, everybody? Come and see me live.
I always like it when a show, like when SNL starts off and they're like, hey, everyone, the show has started, but we haven't done the intro yet. But the show's on. This is the show. This is the beginning of the show. It's a cold open.
I thought the same thing. I don't think he knows what a cold open is.
No.
I think he just means when you start. I think to Joe Matarese, cold open means no inflection, no energy, be boring, and announce where your comedy gig is going to be. That's a cold open to Joe Matarese.
That's a good point. This is just a promo. This is not a cold open.
A cold open is when you start, you do the first bit, it catches people by surprise, like a cold water in the face, I guess. I don't even know.
So
but I know that ain't it. That ain't it.
It's not talking to yourself, basically.
No.
All right, let's get the plugs out of the way. Yeah. Well, we just started. What do you mean we get the plugs out of the way? So he's doing this thing. Joe Matarese, 93.7% Italian comedy tour. And as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, no. Don't tell me this asshat is going around telling hack Italian jokes. So I looked it up, and I found it. This is his Italian act.
That's when you know you're one of those American Italians, right?
Hey, that's when you know one of those American Italians.
We're going to do the thing by the stuff and hit him in the wow. Yeah.
All right. This is called Italians that chop the vowels off Italian words. This bit has never been done before. We're breaking new ground here. This is going to be some really good stuff by Joe.
When they chop the vowel right off the food item. Because they think they're more Italian by doing it. I know those people. It's like a specific area in Jersey, right? It's like between exit 15E and 15W.
Come on. How's he get away with this shit?
Jersey exit Italian jokes. I guess when in Rome, maybe. Does
YouTube know that this is up on their site right now? This is crazy. Holy shit! All right,
he is. He's made his whole everything is Italian, and it's interesting because, with the episode I reviewed, and I'll get to it. He's interviewing another comedian named Jimmy Palumbo, and so they start, and he starts the same goddamn way with, "Hey, cold open, I'm gonna be in Levittown." Right. He does all that shit, and then he brings in the guest, and it says in the description, this is a very special Italian episode, which I'm like, what does that even fucking mean?
Oh, no.
So in my clips, it'll be revealed. But yeah, this is all the guy does is Italy. He makes me fucking hate Italians.
And that's hard to do. All right, so I want to get back to this stand-up because someone in the chat mentioned this. I thought the same thing. This sounds sweetened to me. This doesn't sound like natural laughter, especially when you hear like the uproarious laughter during the setup.
Yeah,
that's always like, wait, I've been to comedy clubs. All right, let's listen.
They don't say mozzarella. They go, you gonna get some mozzarella? You gonna get, yo, stop. You getting the mozzarella? I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill both of you. I'm gonna kill both of you. How much better?
I'm gonna fucking kill both of yous. Was the punchline of that one. All right, let's see.
How does it sound to say mozzarella? That sounds nice, right? You want to have that. You're going to get the mozzarella. That sounds like it was in his ass, right?
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't get it.
Yo, I got a little left. You want it? It's good mozzarella. You want it? It's a little. Come on, it's good. Don't go to waste. As an Italian would say, come on, it's a sin. It's a sin. You got to have it. It's a sin. You're not going to eat it? It's a sin, Joe. It's a little nugget.
That's overdubbed.
It's
and stand still. Stand still, you hyper fuck. God damn.
This guy has been doing comedy for so long. I want to read to you what he puts underneath, actually all of his videos, but this video. specifically. It says, Joe Matarese, as seen on The Howard Stern Show, WTF with Mark Maron, The Late Show with David Letterman, Comedy Central presents Joe Matarese, his own half-hour special, The Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn, Last Comic Standing, The Better Half, Chelsea lately, America's Got Talent. None of these shows even exist anymore. Oh. He was on The Howard Stern Show in 2007. He used to be friends with Artie Lang, and he got on The Howard Stern Show in 2007.
His fourth grade teacher says.
And that's his first credit, as seen on The Howard Stern Show. Yeah. As people were just like, oh, that's where I know him from. That's right. When he was on the news segment with Robin in 2007. Fucking unbelievable. Oh, wow. This is giving like an applause break.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, one of his things that he, if you look online, I guess he got a standing ovation on, I don't know what show it was. Last Comic Standing, America's Got Talent. I don't remember. So, I think this guy has made people laugh a lot somehow. There's somebody for everyone.
Come on.
Hey,
You're
I'm
pulling
just
my
saying.
leg.
No, I'm serious. He has done pretty well for himself in comedy, but where he hasn't is podcasting.
Correct.
And that's one of the things that drives me nuts about people who take podcasting and just there's really no urgency or no goal in getting anywhere being funny, because this guy doesn't do any of that. He just kind of just gets in there and lays an egg the entire time. And I'm like, why are you even why are you wasting your time?
He doesn't even know why. He came on, and I'll let you play a clip before I get into this, because I have a little bit of a deep dive here into this new version of Joe Matarese's podcast. He relaunched his podcast. This is his third attempt at podcasting. He has no idea what his goal is. He lays it out in the first episode. Fuck it, I'm just going to get into it.
Do it.
Sorry,
no, for sure. Do it.
Let's get into it, because this is how he started off his show when he first came back to podcasting. And he refers to this as a monologue. And I think this proves that he's probably sweetening these videos that he's putting up.
Okay, my wife is a 47-year-old woman who loves Taylor Swift. I mean, loves Taylor Swift. I'd rather her love Justin Bieber. Oh, wait, she loves him too. Thanks to my therapy and my antidepressants, I can handle her being a Swiftie. But now she's also a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Look, they beat us in the Super Bowl. She should be happy Taylor didn't start dating the Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson. Forget divorce. That'd be grounds for murder.
Right? And we're into it, the Joe Matarese Show. That was his monologue that he later explained he wrote on the train on his way to the studio.
Yeah. Really, a real showman there as he reads it off of his phone in the most unnatural way possible, too. What the fuck?
My wife is 47 and loves Taylor Swift. Ooh, I mean, loves Taylor Swift. What the fuck is going on here? So this is a little bit into the show. He's getting to know his producer, because what he's doing is renting time. And so he's renting this guy who's going to help him do his podcast here.
So can I say your full name?
Of course.
All right, Mike Albanese. We both are meeting each other for the first time, but I feel like there's some sort of normal connection. He seems like a good dude. You're the guy at the I don't know what you call it, at the ground floor here in the
security. Is what you call that.
Yeah. And he
who's he, the greeter? Who's that guy down there?
When he's on stage, when he's doing his jokes, he might have some urgency to his voice, maybe his inflection. But when he's on the mic at a podcast, the whole thing is just, he drones.
He's lost.
Bobby, when I had to check in, the front desk guy, he seemed like he knew you pretty well, and he said you were a good dude. And then it's weird how you can tell somebody's a good dude.
He went to the Bob Levy School of Inflection.
What you felt about me? Did you get a vibe?
It's the Philly connection.
Oh, so desperate. He goes, I like you. Do you like me? He literally just said that to a guy he just met. You think I'm cool too, right? I said, you're cool. Am I cool?
Oh, God.
The other thing that's really sad about this, that's pathetic, is that he responds to every message on here. He's in here replying to people. Hey, awesome job, Joe. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you checking out.
There's nothing wrong with that, Carl.
Yes, there is.
Carl, there is nothing wrong with saying hi.
If you have the time to respond to each person who comments on your video. All right, let's find out. What is this all about? What's going on?
I guess we should get out right at the top what this episode's going to be about. And each podcast, they're going to be kind of tight now when I'm doing these. So, I'm going for like a 30-minute podcast where we talk about one thing. It's not we're not just shooting the shit about comedy or that kind of thing. And you know me. If you've been a fan of some of my prior podcasts, they're usually about a subject, but I wanted to call this the Joe Matarese Show so I'm not locked in what each subject is. It could be anything, but each episode will be about mostly one thing. And usually I'm guessing that's going to be one thing from my life. That's the way I look at it.
God, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
This makes me mad. Explaining the nuts and bolts of what's going on in your Tonka toy head. God damn.
I blame Mark Maron for all of this.
Yeah, Mark Maron is at fault a lot, but you have to realize, guys, the reason why I'm playing this is because everything he's laying out here for us, he has abandoned. He's up to 16 episodes. This is episode number 1. He said he's never going to have guests on. It's just going to be him, 30 minutes on one topic. The episode I just checked out was an hour and 20 minutes with just an interview with a comedian. And he's like, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a different kind of thing. I'm going to talk about like what I'm into.
But that's what Opie says.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to do things different. That means you have no plan whatsoever.
No plan whatsoever. He's like, I'm going to bring in a monologue. You abandoned that by episode 2. There was no monologue.
Maybe I'll talk sports. Maybe weather.
The idea that people like Joe here, the arrogance. I can just wing it. I can just say whatever I want, and I know you'll all love it.
Yeah, who do you think is Eric Zane?
Yeah, exactly. There's only one asshole who would ever try to do that.
Yes.
That joke that I did at the beginning, I mean, I've never said it on stage, but I could see me trying to turn that into something funny that I could do on stage.
That's cool.
I like that he goes, that joke that I told, I can see me turning that into something funny. Well, then why'd you call it a joke?
He's getting more and more Opie-ish as I watch this.
He's brutal. It's so bad. Okay. So now that we've set the stage of what this was supposed to be, let's find out what it's become just a few short weeks later. Eric, what did you pick up on?
Do you mind if you know how I like mine are in sequence a lot of times when I do this show? So it'll be a few or maybe all of them. I don't know. I kind of want to lead you through this. It just depends.
Okay.
On my clip number 2, because my number 1 is that same cold open bullshit. Mm-hmm. First, Matarese has a question of his guest, this Jimmy Palumbo. All right. Now, listen to the guy gets in there. This is his first question that he asks him with his guest.
So, welcome everybody. Episode 13. My guest today, Jimmy Palumbo. As we're gonna go with. I mean, you are a podcaster. I know you do the Jimmy Palumbo Show. How long you been doing that?
Okay. He wants to know how long he's been doing that, but he took the long way to get to how long have you been doing the Jimmy Palumbo Show?
Do your research.
And I quote, Jimmy Palumbo as, we're going to go with you are a podcaster. I know you do the Jimmy Palumbo Show. How long have you been doing that?
Yeah, like the first question you should probably kind of have mapped out a little bit, right? And then it can turn into a conversation. But the first one you should know.
Right. Now, in my cut 3, what Palumbo should answer is who cares? But Palumbo unfortunately answers, and he gives us all of the details.
Jimmy?
148 weeks. Show 149 coming tomorrow.
And you've never missed a week.
You know what's funny? No. We did 1 week, we recorded a show, right? Mm-hmm. And you know there's some tech problems we just had earlier in the day. Mm-hmm. We recorded the whole show, and then we went to drop it, and like nothing, it was dead. So I just said, so it's actually, even though it's show 149, we've actually done 140. We're one off.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's fascinating stuff. I like that stupid Joe Matarese goes, and he never missed a week. Well, he didn't say that. Like, why?
No, right.
It's the episode number.
Yeah, why is that a follow-up
question?
question?
He didn't say it in a row. So basically you have boring Italian interviewing boring Italian talking boring Italian shit.
If this was the Ray DeVito show, I would understand. But also, you'd be like, that's a dumb question. Can we talk about something interesting, please? What are you doing?
Carl, in my clip 4, Joe asked another question that nobody has interest in learning about. Here we go.
Yeah, that could be happening right now, everybody. As you can tell by the looks of things right now, I'm not at Studio 660 right now in New York City, where I taped the first. Or did they even say taped anymore, Jimmy? Did they say that? You're an actor. Did they say taped?
Say it like
I
that.
Taped that. Live to tape.
Listen, Joe and I have become like grandfathers when the kids change the TV and the remote. Now we don't know where the buttons are. We don't know where the channel up and down is.
So basically, talking about the location where he's doing the show made worse by boring old man tangents about proper recording terminology.
No, this is very Opie-esque. I actually have some Opie stuff we're going to play later in the show where they pinpoint something that's already been talked about a billion times and really ant-fuck it. Like, wow, we got to ant-fuck this concept to death. Like, you don't. We get it. Things change. It's not analog anymore. Now it's digital.
Oh, shit. Joe really likes that he's Italian. Of course, the tour is called 93.7% Italian Comedy Tour.
Yep.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Right.
Who could forget?
And I guess since he's got a guest who is Italian,
oh boy,
this entirely Italian episode is the departure of what he normally does for my Cut 5.
Well, I wanted to go in a kind of different direction for this episode, kind of to match up with the 93.7% Italian comedy tour and do a full Italian episode.
Oh, God.
What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything. He just wants to say Italian.
Now, the guy, Jimmy Palumbo, is not aware that they're doing all Italian all the time.
Okay.
On the show. So he catches him off guard with that. In my clip 6, Joe gets his first hard-hitting question for Jimmy Palumbo out, and it starts with a really wet sniff into the microphone by his guest.
I just started jotting down different top 5 lists that we could discuss. Of
what, is it okay if I'm really only 50% Italian?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to ask you first. What is your heritage?
My dad is really full bore Italian, down to a little village in the Campobasso area of Italy.
Where's that?
Who fucking cares? He goes, where's that? Like, oh, what does that even matter? Why do you have to know where it is?
Yeah, where on the boot? Can you point to your boot to show me?
North by Northwest.
Where it might be.
How's that?
I have to play this clip now because apparently he was telling whoever books the show for him to just book Italian people.
And I said, try to book a lot of Italian people because I'm doing this Italian tour right now, so it could kind of help the tour a little bit and match up. But at the same time, you start to, I'm not some locked in guy that we're going to talk about a bunch of Italian shit. And then your name's Jordan Jensen. So I'm like, how Italian is Jordan Jensen?
Ugh.
I'm half. I'm a solid. I have 2 last names, and one is Cosentini. Cosentini.
Okay.
My wife's maiden name
My
is
mom's last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cosentini. Tine at the end.
Oh, fuck off.
Tini, yeah.
Oh, Cosentini. Okay.
That's what she said.
I never met a Cosentini. Okay.
No one has. Who gives a shit? I feel like I'm at a first fucking date with these assholes.
Yeah. He keeps talking about not being locked in. He is locked in.
He's locked
to
in
sucking. To being boring.
There are Black Panthers who say, man, that guy's really into his ethnic background.
Yeah. It's like, calm down with that shit, buddy.
Jesus
we're all
Christ,
just
you're
people.
Yeah, back off a little bit.
We're all part of one race, the human race. Come on.
Oh, Jesus
The
Christ.
voice of the Black Panthers.
Now I trust you because you got to. There's no way you could be an Italian because your name is Jensen.
Before I get too far away from this, I'm sorry, Eric, to cut you off.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
I have to play the theme song. I think whoever submitted the theme song to him is goofing on him, and he didn't realize that this is a joke.
everybody.
Cold open, yo. Cold open,
Somehow,
yo.
that song is somehow more phoned in than his show is.
I was hoping it would end with Joe.
Joe.
Yo,
Matarese Show.
This is the lazy Italian don't do fucking shit for prep show. I'm Joe.
Yeah, he doesn't
We're
do
gonna
shit.
talk to Italians here. If I can figure out if this bitch has some Italian in her.
He doesn't do shit for research.
could.
He has no idea. And this actually is a little bit embarrassing. So he does this thing where he introduces his guest as he would at a stand-up show. And this is something that a lot of stand-ups do, which I find really annoying on podcasting.
Look at this. Look at this. Impressive. I got a screen. We have our guest right next to us. Very excited to talk to her. Say hi to Jordan Jensen, everybody. There she is. She's got a puppy in her lap. That could fuck up the whole podcast. This should be interesting. It should be interesting.
No, you're doing that. You're doing that. You suck.
I hate this thing. And I got to say, Vinny Paulino does it all the time. He's like, now listen, folks. It's like, no. It's you and me having a conversation. Right now, I'm talking to producer Chris and Eric Zane.
Yeah.
Say hi, everybody, to producer Chris. Is everyone here to say hi? Right?
Yeah.
I don't hear you.
Going back
All
to
you folks in Radioland.
Yeah, what the fuck?
going back to a kid with a tape recorder.
Right. Yeah, but he's acting like he's bringing her up.
Yeah.
All right, I got a great guest coming up for you. Are you guys ready? You guys ready for the
Wave to the people.
Jesus Christ. And Joe really is just a stupid guy. Like his self-deprecating humor just does not work.
I'm just going to have to keep whipping toys for this dog if that's okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. 3-month-old dog in the room for the podcast. That tells you I don't have a lot of followers, everybody.
She's a terrorist.
So stay close to the computer because your volume it's a hair low. It's not crazy low. It's a hair low.
Is the computer taking in the microphone or is the AirPod? Question.
Well, both. The AirPod. Well, no, you got to set a volume level on your computer.
No, you're fucking wrong about all of this. You have no idea what you're talking about.
This is all over my head.
And it's crazy because this guy had a studio in the city and a producer, and then it was too expensive. So now he's doing it from his house again, and he has no idea. Can you get your computer closer to you? Eric Zane, can you get your computer closer to you? I can't hear what you're saying.
And at the end of the day, her sound wasn't bothering anybody.
No, it was fine.
His voice and his brain was bothering everybody.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid.
Fucking just talk. Work it out. Watch it, figure out the problems, and then start over. And
Also,
stop with cold opens.
And he's also making her uncomfortable immediately by being like, oh, your dog's going to be here? Oh, your dog's going to be here? It's a puppy. What do you want it to do? Just lock it in the bedroom, let it shit on the bed? What are you going to do? It's just going to be barking outside like it's a Bob Levy show if you just want to like close the door on it. What are you going to do?
And I don't understand the whole, he gets people on there and it's like a big get to know you tour.
Yes.
It's like they're dating. He did that with Jimmy Palumbo rather than just talking about, something in the culture, something entertaining, something interesting. He's asking about the lineage of another butt-fuck Italian.
Right. Who would this be interesting for? Joe Matarese, because Blind Mike plays a lot of the clips from the Joe Matarese Show. And he had a guy on that was a Mets fan. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, yeah, I like the Mets. I root for them. And Joe Matarese goes, oh my gosh, my brother-in-law is going to love this episode. He's also a Mets fan. It's like, no, he probably won't give a fuck. There's tons of Mets fans. Right. That's not interesting. Right. It's not interesting just because you like the same team that I like. That doesn't make it interesting. Who cares?
Considering that was the heart of the content for that show.
Right.
We're already through it. What else do you want to talk about?
And, and this whole, I'm going to base my tour and everybody's going to know how Italian I am. This guy is Italian in name only. He was born here I'm Armenian. Do you see me going around going, yeah, Armenia, guys. Hey, let's go to Armenia. Dude, I'm 100% Armenian.
Somebody clip that.
Stupid.
Somebody clip that.
I may have referenced it, but I didn't do a goddamn tour of it.
You might want to, though. It seems like a good idea. You do a pretty good job with that, cheerleading for your country.
Shut up.
Do you want to get back to your clips, Mr. Zane?
So we left off with Jimmy Palumbo mentioning that his dad is from a little town. And Joe says, where is that? And unfortunately, Jimmy decides to take a deep dive in my clip 7 of where Dad grew up.
Fuck me.
Where's that?
Town called, it's like Central Italy. It's just really wine country. Same area that Dominic Lombardozzi's from, that actor. We did a movie together. We were laughing. We're from the same. That's why everybody, it's wine. It's beautiful, but like boring. It's almost like going to Kansas here.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth.
Or like this show. It's boring like Kansas or this show.
Oh, I talked to another guy whose family's from that area too, and we laughed about it. Did ya? I guess you had to be there.
That's like Stuttering John with his imaginary buddy.
Right, yeah. I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he agreed with me. Did he?
After Jimmy explains where Dad grew up, Joe could then go into, all right, let's talk about this. Mm-hmm. But instead, Joe wants to know if Jimmy has been there. And then we get to unpack some more Jimmy Palumbo ancestry facts in my Cut 8.
I just want to know how he makes his Sunday sauce. That's what I'm waiting for. I want to know the recipe.
Have you been there?
Dying to go. No, my
Never
parents
been.
went twice. I contacted some people on Facebook, some Palumbos there. But it's in a little town called Montaigne. And there's tons of my relatives. It would be my dad's father's brothers, kids, and great-grandkids, and all the way down are still in that town. Tons of Palumbos there. I was told Palumbo's a common name in Sicily, but not so common in central Jersey, so you could find some people. And then my mother's Irish and also English, a little bit of a like Nova Scotian and shit like that. So.
Whatever! Holy fuck!
It's not even for Italians. Who is this for?
It's so yeah, even if you're an Italian, they all hate you. They want.
There's a podcast I reviewed very early on, 8 years ago, and for WATP, it was called "Sleep with Me," I believe. And the whole idea was it's a podcast you listen to if you have a hard time falling asleep.
That's right, yeah.
And the guy kind of mumbles and talks gibberish and doesn't really do anything. You could totally repackage this show and have it be like, you have a hard time falling asleep, listen to me talk about where my guest is from in Italy.
That's a good idea.
It's not a bad idea. This is the most boring conversation I've ever heard.
Well, thank God he's not locked in.
Right. He's all in on the Italian thing. It's like, well, it's a tour, it's the podcast, it's everything. Carl,
next, Jimmy goes with it to break the story of how his mom and dad met.
They met in Astoria, Long Island City, where the old World's Fair, the ice skating rink there. My mother was like 10 years younger. She was a little hottie Irish girl bouncing around. Funny thing is, though, we believe that my mother is the first Irish into the bloodstream of the Palumbos. All my dad's.
Who fucking cares?
Finally,
so,
Carl,
I imagine what happens here. If I didn't listen to this episode, so I'm pretty sure what happens here is Joe goes, "Why did I get on this tangent? I'm sorry. I know this is not interesting or exciting. What do you do on your show? Tell me more about your podcast. Let's mix it up a little bit." What? No, he doesn't realize that this is going nowhere, and no one would want to listen to this.
It's an hour of breaking down landmarks in Italy and Italian women, and it's.
All right. I don't normally do this, but I'll Venmo you some money for doing your homework on this one. I'm sorry.
Now,
I apologize.
The thing that on my last clip, it's just a supercut because it's just an example of. Okay, I guess this could have been interesting if there was some jumping off point or something to actually talk about. But listen to Joe's actual questions. He gets this guy in there. This is a supercut of just his questions on Cut 10.
No, you do the Jimmy Palumbo show. How long you been doing that? Did they even say taped anymore, Jimmy? Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to ask you first. Where's that? Have you been there? Where did your parents meet? Was your dad's family so Italian that when he brought home this Irish girl, they were like upset? Did your dad speak Italian?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I think I would just act like Michael Popak. Oh my gosh, I can't hear. I'm freezing up here. Frozen up. My computer's dying. Gotta go.
Would you agree that the phrase "read the room" comes from being a stand-up?
Oh yeah.
And you'd think, how can someone be this lost in a different format where it's just easy to read one person, you know?
Yeah, I don't think he's good at reading the room when he's doing stand-up either. That's why he has to put in all that laughter and applause.
Right. The room is just like this.
What the fuck? All right. So great questions, Joe. You're doing a bang up job. Let's get back to this interview that he's doing with Jordan here. And Jordan wants to know why they're doing this over Zoom.
Why do you not do things in person? This is a nightmare.
I was.
COVID? Don't say COVID. I'll myself.
No.
Okay.
Expense. I was using Mike Albanese, who's great, and he has a studio up on 51st and 3rd, and I did my first 12 episodes. I'm only 13 episodes into this. Or what am I saying? 14 episodes in? Yeah, 14 episodes in. So
it's fucking episode 15. He doesn't even know that. Yeah. 15 episodes. He doesn't even know that.
Everything is, it's like you want to scream, skip the labor, give me the baby. I don't need to know where Mike Albanese, where his office is.
I know.
I don't need to know the goddamn episode number.
Why are
you doing this?
Because they're both in New York City. She's in Brooklyn, and she goes, "Why aren't we doing this in person? This is a nightmare."
If I was his guest, 5 minutes in, I'd be like, "Well, I'm never coming on the show, and this isn't going to help me. So fuck this guy. I'm just going to read him the riot act."
This goes on for an hour and 20 minutes.
I'd be like,
she's very polite.
I'd be like, "Fucking why, Joe? Why? Why is that interesting?"
Well, are you ready? Are you ready for the worst question ever? So, Eric, you put together a little supercut of bad questions. This is the worst question ever. And talk about not doing any fucking research or prep.
Did we ever do comedy together?
I don't think so.
Jesus. Did we ever do have I met you before?
Low blow.
What the fuck was that? And then he goes on to explain, because you look like this other broad who did this joke about this thing that's similar to the joke that you made. So I wasn't sure if that was you or not.
Yeah, he's going to tell us why it's in his brain.
But he makes it more insulting.
Fucking Italian sausage brain.
All right, so then he is now going to set her up to do a joke that he saw her do on her special. Oh. And the worst part is that Joe watched like 2 or 3 minutes of her 30-minute special. He explains this. We're going to get to that. And then he tries to tell her how he really liked this joke.
I don't even need to do a deep dive on Jordan to know that she's got like an interesting kind of crazy life here. I knew it in 2 seconds. I was like, I just want her to explain all of it. What made me think we worked together is you had a joke about knowing how to fix shit, and you had a truck that you like went on a, what was it? Did you go on a date with a guy and you showed up in your truck, or what was the truck joke I saw?
I have a few because I had a truck for years. My mom has my truck now.
What was the joke that you did that I liked? What was that? What was the joke that I enjoyed?
Part of the stuff where you said all about the things.
He's lost. And
He's lost.
I think it's not really adding up in my head. If you're on stage and he seems, whether you think his jokes are funny or not, doesn't matter. He has presence. He knows how to keep thoughts moving.
He's been doing it
for
forever.
some reason. He's so goddamn klutzy and sloppy in this.
Yes.
And yet just somehow smug.
Right.
Yet somehow smug. He is smug. He's a fucking asshole.
So if you thought the "have we worked together" question was bad, this is even worse.
There's one where he says, I forget what. I mean, there's a bunch of. Oh, maybe the guy says you look like you like to eat pussy, and I say, because I get out of my truck.
Yeah.
But he was a fat guy, so I was like, you look like a pussy who loves to eat. Maybe that was it.
Oh, that wasn't it. I would remember. But you did have. What made me think that we worked together is somebody hosted the show at Gotham that I was on once, and she had a lot of jokes about being straight but knowing how to fix a lot of shit, and I said that's kind of a funny angle that she was going with. And then I turned on your stuff, and you had the really funny angle of that your mom's a lesbian, but she married your dad, and that you were this person that was handy but not gay. So,
Great joke.
Yeah, and that this is all I hear.
I am so uncomfortable for him.
Yeah,
he can't get out of his own way on this one. Just do a little bit of research and see if you've worked with her before you do the show. So none of this awkward conversation happens. So then we're 10 minutes in on the show. The most entertaining part of the show happens where she shows her puppy. And then after that,
I thought you were going to say pussy.
no, she finally shows her puppy, which is exciting. And then after that, Joe decides that we should probably start the show.
Are you single or are you in a relationship?
I'm single.
So you're single.
I'm single. I have
know.
this. This is what my.
And you have the dog. You have the dog and you, and no roommates. just the
No,
just the
I
little
just moved
dog.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm single by I can't date. It's impossible for me to date because I'm such a dyke and I intimidate every single man I've ever been with. Not intimidate, but there ends up being a resentment because they don't know how to be a dominant human being. And
that's an interesting. Well, we should start with talking about that because that's an interesting topic.
Oh,
We should start with talking about that. You should have.
Yeah.
it's like
Just
20
talk
minutes
about
into
it.
it.
You could have done that 10 minutes ago.
Let's talk about how we should possibly talk about you being a dyke.
Right. So she's straight. And I love this thing where she goes, yeah, I can't hold onto a boyfriend because guys, they all suck. It's like, well, no, it's probably you. You're probably the problem. Yeah. There's one common denominator here we can look at. But okay. So now Joe is ready to, just like you were talking about, where he was diving into his guest and learning every stupid detail about the person's life. He has to do that with her too.
Okay.
So I guess, I'll do that kind of interview, like take me back a little bit.
No.
So your parents are divorced now?
Oh no.
yes,
So
they're divorced. My dad is dead. My dad has since died. We don't really know. He just like laid a foundation and then he came home and passed out and died, which is like the best way to go.
Yeah.
So he watched a 2-minute bit she did about how her mom's a lesbian and based his entire interview off of that. All right, so take me. I'm going to be one of those guys. Like, all right, take me back. So your parents are divorced? 'Cause I heard that as a setup to one of your jokes.
Oh no.
Brutal.
And that look on his face, that's the most energy he's put out right there.
Yes.
His eyes are wide open.
Correct.
He's like, oopsie, the Joe Italian stepped in it here.
So then Jordan talks about how she needs a guy who's a handyman because she's very handy. And she makes a joke that if you don't know how to hang a TV on the wall, I can't date you. And so because this is such a boring conversation that's going nowhere, Joe decides to really sell this one and acts like this is a hysterical conversation. This reminds me of when Stuttering John would do his beer on the balconies back in the day. And no matter what the person said, he'd just start laughing like it was, we're all having fun, right? Everyone's laughing.
So that's how I got fired.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I have to date. The people I'm attracted to are it's just blue collar. I'm just attracted to blue collar people.
About Italian.
And then if they're not, if they don't know how to change a tire or hang a TV, I just can't get down with the sickness. I'm not into it. It grosses me out. If you can't mount your fucking TV, if you call the handyman,
you need a mount.
if you call the app handyman, you know how many or what's the other one called? TaskRabbit. I can't. There's no way we can have sex. There's no way.
I hope you do bits
disgusting.
about that because that's hilarious. If a guy can't hang a TV or turned off, do you have jokes about that? That's funny.
Oh, don't tell us what's funny.
I know.
And he just repeats, oh, yeah, you said hang a TV. God damn.
And you would think that he'd move on from there. And then he goes, I hire people to hang the TVs for me because I don't want to deal with the electric work and I'm worried about that. She's like, yeah, whatever. Anyway.
It was a joke.
I didn't want to talk about hanging TVs for a fucking hour.
I'm going to go hang a TV.
I'm going to hang myself.
He's so stupid. He thinks it's just serious. Like, that's not a joke to him. He's
Right.
oh, yeah, me too.
So what do you do, like 8 or 9 minutes on hanging TVs in your act or something? She's like, no, we're just having a conversation here. He's like that idiot when they meet a comic and they're like, oh, you're probably going to talk about me now in your act now that we met, right? It's just like, no, this is not an interesting part of my life. I'm not going to talk about you in my
I can't
act.
wait till it's over.
It's fucking idiot. Okay. This is Joe just completely tuning out. And she busts him that he's just not even paying attention.
And I'm like, no, I'm carrying the bag of sand. I need you to listen to my sadness. And they're like, nah, I don't know anything about that. I can't do that. Does that make sense?
No, I don't know why. I had trouble with that. I have ADD though, so that could be why. There was something I got lost in that you're saying that.
Yeah, she's seen that look before.
Yeah, she's like, I better bring the puppy out again because this is not going anywhere right now.
Puppy time.
Is that dog Italian? Where did you get? Is that an Italian bulldog?
So I have to say, in this next clip, it's a longer clip, but you've never seen an interviewer dig themselves such a hole as this guy digs himself here. This might be the worst interviewer in the history of podcasting. Not broadcasting, podcasting, which anyone could do. Anyone with a phone could do this. And somehow Joe Matarese is the worst at it ever.
Well, it's funny. Little inside to Jordan, to you, was when I watched some of your stand-up. I have an ex-girlfriend that I'm good friends with, but she lives in Florida now and she's married. And we remained friends.
Details.
Like, she's cool, and she's I texted her your stuff, and I go, what do you think of her? What do you think of her? I go, she reminds me of you. I said to her, if you got like catapulted to now when you were that age, but she's the 2024 version of you. And I think I confused her when I tried to explain that. But there was, I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but there was like it was weird. I watched some of your stand-up in the special, and then I watched the stand-up when you were on the James Corden show, and I really connected instantly with the you on the James Corden thing. But I wasn't, to be honest, not that I thought you were bad. I only watched like 2 minutes, 3-4 minutes of your special. But I was like, well, let me see her here. And like that one, I really connected with in a different way. The other one, I felt like I'm too old to get all this. I feel like there's all young, Brooklyn-y crowd here. And I was like, there was something different. So I'm all over the place here and what I'm trying to say here, but
wow,
I guess what I'm trying to say is, will you go out with me?
that is a magical word slurry.
Wow.
I mean, that was historic.
I've been blackout drunk and made more sense.
I mean, we went everywhere.
What was he talking about?
Remember when he was talking about his wife? My ex, she lives in Florida south of Georgia. What, dude? What are you doing? I mean, it's like a Scorsese movie. Cut it.
Right. Cut some of this out, please. And then he goes into the whole thing where he's like, yeah, I watched your special, but I didn't really like it. I mean, no, it's great, but I only watched 2 minutes. I mean, maybe 4. And then I watched this other thing. That was pretty good. Humana. Where are you going with this, Joe? What do you want to say?
My diagnosis. The guy's not a bad-looking dude.
Okay.
And he's got that voice. That's all he has. And, I mean, he has no charisma, no sense of humor.
No, he doesn't know what jokes
He can't make a point. And I think he's just, like, somehow got through life on just those 2 things.
Well, there's another thing you don't know about him.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is he Italian?
His wife makes all the money.
Oh.
So he's one of these guys who got married to a woman who makes a lot of money. Okay. And she's like, yeah, Joe, you can play comic for the next couple decades. That's fine.
That story totally checks out.
Because he keeps thinking he's going to break out. He's going to be a breakout star. I mean, he was on Last Comic Standing and America's Got Talent. Like he keeps trying. He's like, how do I get famous like all my friends? He used to hang with Artie Lang and all these guys. He's like, everyone's famous but him. How come he hasn't broken out? Because you're not good at it, Joe.
Yes. Yeah. It's time to face the facts.
You stink.
It's not happening. It's not. This fucking guy, he's still holding on to this dream. He's like, one of these days. This video has 278 views on it. Came out over a week ago. It's not happening.
You suck.
I'm curious, when he's out, have you seen him on Kevin's show?
I sure have.
Is he like a punching bag? Does Kevin just tell him to shut the fuck up? Because I honestly would feel so fucking good to watch Kevin tell this guy he's horrible.
That's the sad part.
Shut the fuck up.
I agree.
That's the sad part because Ray DeVito and Chad Zumach go on there as punching bags, maybe Mike Buschetti or a couple other people. This guy comes on and he's a respected comic on MLC now. You're like, well, do you know who this guy is? He sucks. Are you kidding me?
This is horrible. If Brennan has any respect, he will destroy this piece of shit every time he opens his mouth. That's how bad this guy is.
Well, he's not getting the Brennan bump, I can tell you that, because no one's watching this show, and if anyone does tune in, they're not coming back. Check out the way he wraps this up. This is such an awkward ending, and then he lies.
Hell yeah.
All right, Jordan.
All right, thank you
Great
so
meeting you.
much.
Hopefully you won't care if I asked you to plug this on your social media somewhere. I'll send you a clip or something.
I will, totally.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I'll see you. Have a good day.
You too. No. That was Jordan Jensen, everybody. Really funny comic. Go check her out. The her half-hour special is on YouTube. I saw that, and all of her other stuff, and her podcast is blowing up.
What a liar! You didn't see it. You watched 2 minutes, and then you didn't like it, and then you watched one other appearance she had, and you've never heard her podcast. I didn't bring that up once. Such a liar.
Yeah, this is rough, and I would love to hear, like, if she would ever, like, kiss and tell about what she was thinking when it was going on with Joe Matarese. What was really going through her
We should get
mind?
her on the show and talk about this. That's a good call.
I mean, who gives a fuck? I mean,
Yes,
if Matarese had any degree of comedy in him, he would recognize how funny that would be, and he's got to embrace how shitty he is.
I don't care if he does or not. That's not my job to keep Joe Matarese happy.
I
Fuck
mean,
that retard.
that's the only shot he has to make any money. He's like he's kind of like Stuttering John,
Right? Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's not far from people just sending delivery food while he's podcasting live and goofing on him.
That would be funnier.
That would be better than what he's doing, for sure. Oh, and I just want to tell people, because Jody B reminded me in the Discord here, that if you want to watch a Joe Matarese meltdown, he tried to do a show called Fixing Joe, where he thought that he would do a podcast where he talked about his relationship problems, and he'd bring on some of his funny comic friends, and they'd talk about it. And he got Anthony Cumia, Artie Lang, and Jim Norton. And it turned into all of them just bashing him. And he's going, guys, I'm trying to be serious, though. Like, what should I do? My wife says I should do this, and I want to do that. And they're like, fuck you, Joe. You're an idiot. It's very funny. He wanted this to be a whole series.
Yeah, I like it already.
Now that I feel like I have something owed to me. I would love to just sit there and watch that. My God.
But yeah, mark that down, producer Chris. We got to book Jordan Jensen
it
on
is
this
marked.
show. I want to see what she thought about that. Because there's a couple times when he's hamina, and you look at her face, she's like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Can I just fake my own death?
Come here, boy. Come here.
It's got him by the jugular.
Oh, shit. That poor woman.
That interview fizzled.
Oh, it's brutal.
Holy shit.
Brutal.
Who are these podcasts? WA